We do, and we'll talk to Empire. They've had 3 opportunities to speak with us, and they'll have yet another joystick. How are you? Nice to see you again. I feel like we're here multiple times a week. So.
Yeah, hello guys. Nice to see you too.
I want to talk about this matchup today. First and foremost, Clubhouse has secretly become one of your better maps.
Yeah.
How much of an effort have you put on learning this and adding it to your map pool? And additionally, losing one of your best maps in Oregon, did it accelerate you having to learn another map to the same level that you knew Oregon?
Yeah, we haven't got Oregon right now, and we just learned new map, and we practice a lot on the Clubhouse before the Pro League finals, and we feel so comfortable on this map, and we do the same all the time.
I think that's a good way of putting it with Empire. You do the same all the time. Now, I want to ask, when they were on defense, Chaos seemed to get into your heads on 2 rounds where you couldn't drone them out effectively. Now, or rather, find them effectively. Was this because you couldn't drone them out? Was this just because they played unpredictable? Because there were 2 rounds where it definitely seemed like you were fighting from behind the 2 rounds that Chaos won. What went through your minds there trying to figure out where their roamers were?
Yeah, we don't play versus Chaos a lot on in practice, and they use mute very good, and they play it unpredictable for us. They when they defend the below side, I don't know. They play above. They play in strip. They defend unpredictable positions.
Now, when you're talking about unpredictability, was mute the biggest reason why you weren't able to find them, or was it miscommunication on your part?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit miscommunication from our side.
Perfect. Now, heading into today, you said you don't play Chaos all that much. So how do you prepare for them? Is it about preparing your own strategy, or is it about counter-stratting them to a certain extent if you don't play them all that often?
I don't think we never counter-strateging, because we always do the same and it works all the time. So our coach said us what they pick, what they use, what they're defending, and our captain, in-game leader, in-game said us what we need to do to win rounds.
Now, the Monty ban that came out, I'm assuming was because you didn't want to play them because you know Chaos plays it?
No, it's just because Monty for us, it's, I don't know how to say. We can't play versus Monty, that's why.
So the secret to defeating Empire is run a Monty in every single round if you don't ban him, so no. Now, that's it for me. Anything that you want to say to the fans, to the viewers, etc., at the end of your 3rd interview in a row here in European Pro League?
Yeah, thank you guys all for watching. Thank you for everything. We love you, and good luck to the next teams in next matches.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I'm sure
thanks.
we'll see you again. Take care and have a great day. Go to them and ask them about this matchup. And Korey, is this your first time doing an interview?
My 2nd time, actually.
You did it last week on the 2nd play day, right?
No, I did it against Supremacy, also on Coastline, in Season 8.
Oh, I meant with LeStream. I didn't mean with in general. Well, congratulations on your victory today. A couple questions for you. First and foremost, that matchup was particularly fast. Did you expect Vitality to come out of the gates on their attacks and defenses, peaking as aggressively as they did?
No, absolutely not. Like, we knew that they're going to get Alive, and we knew that Alive has an absolute different playstyle to Sneaky, even though they're both fairly aggressive players. But the entire team being that aggressive, and especially like spawn peeking and stuff like that, we absolutely did not expect that, and I was pretty naive at least.
Now, when you go to a map like Coastline, do you find that that fast, aggressive play is exacerbated by the fact that you don't necessarily need as much utility as you do on other, more strat-heavy maps?
I think in general, Coastline is a map that you win more likely if you have good fraggers, and if you have a team which can frag it out. And if you have a team that's more utility-based, a team like Vitality, then a map like Clubhouse is better for them, or used to be better for them.
Now, we saw a lot of Mozzie play today, more than most maps and more than most playdays actually in one match. Is it a unique Coastline phenomenon that Mozzie came out, or do you think it's just an operator that suits both you and Vitality's play styles?
Well, basically against Vitality, we started to realize that as soon as we know where they are and as soon as we have every information, that we're gonna win the rounds against them. So we started to gather as many information operators as we can, and well, Mozzie is one of the best information operators right now, as you can not only deny drones but also use them for your advantage. So it used to be very good for us. And well, also for Vitality, obviously, denying every drone and getting information for them will also help them.
Now, you mentioned that on Coastline, the team that has the better fraggers tends to win. After you saw how aggressive Vitality was being at the onset on defense, was it a change that you made, or was your anticipation always to be as aggressive as you were through the X amount of rounds played today?
Well, basically, we just stick to our game plan. Like, we have our game plan, which we usually go through, and we were like, all right, just let's not get picked apart by them all the time, and let's just play together and we're gonna win it. Like, obviously the aggression caught us off guard in some rounds, but in most of the rounds, as long as we played it together, as long as we refract the people, it's counterable.
Well, you countered them quite well, and a 7-2 scoreline puts you back on top of European Pro League, and we'll see you in a couple days for the 4th play day, but in the meantime, anything to say to the fans, the viewers, your org, etc. at the end of this interview?
Well, we're thankful for every support that we get, and we're getting, at least I'm getting a lot of support lately, and I'm very thankful for that, and so is the entire team. The entire French team is behind us, and even though we beat another French team, we're still thankful for every support we get.
Perfect. Thank you so much. It was great seeing you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'm sure we'll see you again.
Goodbye.
Thanks. So we'll ask them about that matchup, and then we'll go from here. How are you? Oh, you are... That is quite the mustache.
Thank you.
How are you, Enemy?
I'm fine, and you, Intero?
I'm good. Congratulations on your victory today. Now, I want to touch.
Finally.
I wanted to touch upon something with your team play today, because it seemed like there were a couple rounds where you worked really, really effectively as a team, and other rounds where it completely fell apart. Was this due to Mouse successfully picking apart the defense and the attacks, or was this simply due to miscommunication on your team's part?
For me, it's like both. It can be as well like Mouse really playing really good and like the aggressive player and like really good player, but also it's our part, because sometimes we are like this. Penta, it's like the past week versus the match of Empire, we miss some basics team play, and we can really fail a round, and yeah, it's happened like this sometimes with us.
Now, is team play the thing that you imagine your team needs to improve upon the most after your first 2 play days? Because surely after those 2 losses and performing below, I assume, what are your own expectations, you must have identified a major weakness to work on moving forward.
Yes, it's a kinda part of the strat. We need to strat more for sure, and we have to have more automatism, because sometimes we don't have some automatism we should have in this level, and also like touch each other. It's like all the time we have to keep work on it, I guess, for everyone.
Perfect. Now, Coastline tends to be one of your stronger maps, and we didn't have as much information on Mouse. Were you surprised that they took you to that map, or were you expecting it?
No, because we chose on the map veto, the team chose the last map, like the last 2 maps. So we chose Coastline between Coffee, of course, and we changed little things before the match versus Mouse, because we know they will play aggressively and stuff, but it was not so. To be honest, it was not working. For example, I play Sledge to nade a lot, but we 6-pick all the time the Thatcher to play an IQ, because Gomfi is playing Gomfi, or I don't remember, Valkyrie, really good. So yeah, we try to do something versus them, but it didn't work like good. What worked today is like Blast was incredible on his clutching and his kills, and everyone else like doing this job really good, and calling, it was really like more for that. We won, sorry.
So, outside of teamwork, as you look towards the remaining 4 play days that you have between now and the break, what is going to be your biggest focus as a team to try to climb up those standings and contend at the top of Europe?
For me, the best thing we have to do is like trust each other, and also work on our mistake, like effectively the team play, and have automatism. It's our big mistake. We don't have automatism sometime on basic things, so we have to work on it really better. for sure.
Well, all the best moving forward. I'm sure we'll see you again. Anything to say to the other teams, the viewers, the fans, etc. before we end the interview?
Yeah, thank you a lot for your support. Even if we do already 2 lose and just 1 win, like we still want to improve, and we still are guys really motivated. So thank you for your support, and yes, bye bye. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care.
Thank you too. Bye.
Thanks. Now 2 wins in rather over 3 matches, and it's nice to see you again. Congratulations, first and foremost.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
You're undefeated on Cafe so far this season, so I guess the game plan from here on out is just continuously force Cafe every other game, I'm assuming?
I mean, I guess you could say that, but no, we want to try some new maps as well, obviously, so yeah, but GG.
Now, you saw G2 play this because every single team in Europe played Cafe on Playday number 1, yourself included. You beat Penta 7-4 on this map, but as the way Penta played was so different from G2, you also made a couple changes here. How much of that was counter-stratting G2, and how much of that was just the way that your team in 4 days, actually, 5 days, how much of that is how much you've changed on Cafe?
Well, after watching G2 play Cafe against Mouse, we knew that they brought a lot of like nades, capital, things like that. So we were kind of expecting that to come. We were also maybe expecting a Monty from Pengu. You know, he's very good on Monty, and we struggled against Penta like that. But that didn't happen. So our prep went really well. We knew that we had to waste as much time as we could with solo roaming, like just holding off Bakery, as you've seen in the last round there, for as long as we could, and just overall wasting time. So I think that was our main kind of focus this whole match, and it worked out. So yeah.
Was there a growing sense as you got halfway through the actual match that, hey, we can take more chances, we can take more fights and walk away winning them?
Well, I think that one of our problems is we shouldn't be scared against a team like G2. That's kind of like last week's game against Vitality. This hurt us a lot. We were really scared to take the gunfights. We didn't want to peek. We wanted to play as safe as possible, and that really showed. Like, we really underperformed. So we were like, if we peek these guys, we can win. Like, our gun skill is just as good as these guys. We can win. We can win everything. So that was our approach to it, and we played a bit silly, but it worked. So yeah.
Yeah, the Vitality matchup was an interesting one because I think a lot of people went in after seeing your performance against Penta thinking, hey, this might be a cakewalk for them, especially considering Challenger League last season. What do you think really went wrong? Was it just being afraid to take gunfights, or was there more to it?
Okay, so Vitality banned Thermite on club, which we've never experienced before in an official match. And we also followed that up with banning Maverick, which as soon as we done that, we were kind of like, dear, this is a mistake. So we kind of knew from the get-go that this match was going to be like an uphill struggle. So that was probably the main reason we struggled so much, and that's our fault. That's completely our fault. We misjudged them, and they did play really well. They played really secure. They'd clearly prepped for that exact bans, etc. So yeah, well played.
And as a newer team to Pro League, how long do you think it took you to assess that and bounce back? Was that something that, you wouldn't have had the same perspective on, a couple months back when you were still playing in Challenger League?
So as soon as we lost that game to Vitality, like literally 30 minutes later, we had a 30-minute break and we went straight into a custom game and sorted all of our issues out. We practiced the next day with the Thermite ban. We practiced all of this type of stuff. Even though this might not happen again, we just tried and sorted our issues out, cleaned them all up, and yeah, so that's that. Without leaking too much.
Well, no, of course. I don't want you to give away all the secrets, but that's one of the things with Pro League teams, right, is that, from my perspective, if I can just add my own point here, growing up as a caster, seeing the amateur scene all the way up, what really sets apart the Pro League teams typically from the amateur teams is just what you know and what you can practice, and having Navi as your org and the infrastructure, I'm sure it helps out and allows you to have a much greater breadth of strategy. But anything you want to add at the conclusion of the interview, your second one so far this season?
Yeah, just GG Fabian, it was a nice try. So yeah, that was a roast. Also, I just want to thank Navi and especially our player manager, Night End, who has been helping us out so much this week and the past week. So yeah, thanks.
I assume you're not going to be directing people over to G2's store the same way that he did, so thank you for withholding.
No, however... No. It's okay.
I was ready for it, so thank you for the restraint. Sometimes it's nice to have that in interviews. It was a pleasure talking to you again. I'm sure we'll see you again. Take care.
Oh, he's gone. I'm sure he wanted to say bye and thank you.
I'm sure he wanted to.
So thank you for that, Doki.
Sure he wanted to say that.
You've been great.
Yeah, bye, Doki. See ya, I guess.